is a little trick. Clean the lens, and you've instantly got a clearer picture. Well, when I saw, I've got a bit of the COVID weeping, dropping everyone into breakout here. Hello, hi everyone. Welcome back to Be Video Confidence Show and my fantastic guest, Bella Foxwell.
Hi
Bella.
Hi.
And Bella is in Porto, so she is living certainly my dream.
The dream.
Yeah,
the sunny anti-London dream.
And yeah, I got my dogs barking, so you can tell we're live, definitely. And they're howling because Amazon has decided to arrive right now at 1 o'clock. So it's me and the bevideoconfident.co.uk, and this is what we're talking about. Bella Foxwell, how to generate business through Instagram video content. Who is Bella? Well, she's pretty amazing. She's an Instagram strategist with more than 5 years experience growing Instagram accounts for the likes of Canon, Disney and Korn. And I've worked with Disney in the past when I worked at a PR company. Really, really tough company to work for because they expect the best. They're really, really specific, really tight brand guidelines. So, you know, my hat is really off to you, Bella, for working with them and making it a success. You know,
Thank you. Yeah, they are hard work. You're right. High expectations.
But, you know, when you get it right, it's so satisfying, isn't it? What you're doing today, empowering business owners to generate more leads, inquiries, and sales through high converting Instagram content. So, welcome, Bella. So, what are you up to this week?
This week, well, my mum and dad are actually flying out to Porto on the weekend. That's the fun side of this week. And then in terms of work things this week, I have a presentation tomorrow, a Reels workshop tomorrow. I have some one-to-one client work. And what else do I do? And some of my own content creation to do. But I'm trying to wrap things up before the weekend so that I can have a fun long weekend.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, brilliant. So my first question is, Bella the Door Obsessive. She set up the Doors of London. That's you. And in fact, I'm going to throw this into my question is Bella's Instagram was so successful that Gibson Games, who I've actually I've worked with them as well. I made a commercial for them and I really know.
Did you?
Yeah, for one of their games. Amazing company. Really high quality products. And I love jigsaws as well, but they've actually licensed Doors of London jigsaw. So how did you do that? I mean, how did you grow such an engaged community of followers?
Great question. So when I first started in my corporate job, when I first started getting interested in Instagram and was working for those brands that you mentioned, Disney and Korn and Canon, I set myself a challenge and to see whether I could grow an Instagram account in the same way that those big brands could, or whether they could just do it because of who they were, because they're so famous and we all know them. So I focused on a very specific niche, which is front doors. And living in London, normally we are so blessed with the beautiful architecture we have. There are a lot of homeowners who are very passionate about their front door and painting them amazing colors. So I had a great subject matter to work with. And I knew that it was quite good because I didn't have to be in the photos. And back then, when I started this account in 2015, you could not really show up on video or in photos on Instagram and be successful. And that's quite different now. But yeah, so I set myself a challenge. I posted every single day. But one of the most important things which allowed me to grow this very niche Instagram account was that I really connected with the community online. And back in 2015, Instagram still felt like quite a small place. And the community based in London, but also further afield, who were obsessed with London and obsessed with all things British, it was a really strong community. So I made it a real concerted effort to not just post regularly, which is still important today, but to really engage with those people, get to know them, meet them in real life. And that was really what helped catapult the growth of that Instagram account, so that within 3 years, it had grown to 70,000+ followers. But as I always say, more important than the followers was how engaged the community is and was. And so it wasn't just the follower number, it was the comments, it was the messages, it was the people I was getting to know.
Well, because I've done one of your courses very recently, and that's something that you really get across in your courses. It's about actually liking the people that you're connecting with.
Yeah.
I've always felt that with your account, I mean, both accounts, is you kind of radiate that I want to like you, and you like everyone. It's really, really nice, and yeah, it's really engaging, and it made me realize, because you know, there's this obsession with getting more followers, and then you get all these messages saying buy more followers. And I was getting really quite panicked about that, thinking, crikey, you know, well, it's not going to cost me much to buy 10,000 followers. But then talking to you and listening to you, and the way that you teach, and looking at your accounts, I realized that it's, you know, you can have a lot of people who are really nobody.
Yeah.
You can have real people, and they
Yeah.
really do engage with you, and they go out and buy the jigsaw.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is it. And that first Instagram account, The Doors of London, was amazing. And it's what got me to where I am today. And it has led to amazing opportunities like the puzzle, and also going to amazing events, meeting amazing people. But what I always say to people that I work with, and also in the workshops that I run, there is a difference between having lots of followers and making lots of money, or even generating a consistent income. And that wasn't the case with that Instagram account. I had a really engaged community, but because I didn't set it up to make money, I didn't set it up as a business, that ended up, you know, I had lots of followers, but I wasn't making money from that. And actually, it wasn't until I set up the Instagram account that I have now, which is really focused on my ideal client. I'm much more deliberate with the messaging and the content. That Instagram account, which has far less followers, it's still very engaged, but far less followers. That's how I generate my consistent income. So I guess there's a through line there, which is engaging is important, but having a huge number of followers doesn't dictate your success. And you can be successful with a much smaller audience, but it's about how engaged you're willing to be with that audience, which is really important. And I think we get quite blinded by followers on Instagram, when in actual fact, much like LinkedIn or in real life networking, if you put time and effort into engaging with people on Instagram, that is one of the best ways to grow your account and boost your engagement. But yeah, I think because of the follower number on Instagram, and I guess the rise of influencer culture on Instagram, we've gotten a bit lost with actually the community versus followers, you know?
Yeah. Now, I was on Instagram and I was doing stuff, but my real focus was LinkedIn, because I knew so many people, and it was really nice catching up with people in a business way, and it really felt very comfortable for me. And during lockdown and stuff, I kind of drifted away from Instagram, and suddenly I returned, and it's so different. It is so different. But it also gave me sort of objective, you know, I became a bit more objective about it, because previously it was kind of a bit bewildering, really. And I've really have appreciated going on your workshops and having you kind of explain it in a much more relaxed way, that, you know, don't panic about it. Because that's one of the things you say is don't panic, and it's okay not to wear your makeup, and
Yeah.
just turn up.
Yes. Yeah, pretty much. And I think, again, that's a hangover of a few years ago, which was filters and perfection. And that it's reasonable that we still feel like that sometimes, but it is a different place, and people expect different things. And actually, there's research that's been done, I think by Instagram themselves, that have found that actually people want to see more of the real people and more of the behind the scenes of how businesses are run and products are made. That's what people really want to see. They don't want to see the perfect polished you, or
Yeah.
perfect polished life, which is not real.
Yeah. thank goodness. So my next question is, building on the growth of the Doors of London, you launched at Bella Foxwell, and you're now empowering business owners to plan profitable content. How are you doing it?
How am I doing it?
Yeah.
Well, so my big focus is content, really, and content planning and content creation, because what I kept finding when I was working with business owners is that really one of the biggest stumbling blocks to growth on Instagram is being able to consistently create great content. And I think sometimes, and I know because of the people I work with, there is a slightly misdirected focus. We're focusing on growing our followers, we're focusing on growing our engagement. And the missing link there is, well, the way that you do that on Instagram is with great content. And it's not just about pumping out content for the sake of it, for the sake of maintaining a presence. It's about creating and posting high quality content consistently. And that's hard. And I know how hard that is, because when you're a business owner and you're wearing a million different hats and you're trying to do a million different things, finding the time to plan content just always falls to the bottom of the to-do list.
Yeah.
So for the last couple of years, I've been on a real mission to help business owners as much as I possibly can through workshops and my own online course. I'm really trying to help business owners find that time to plan more consistently. And it's a combination of two things. It's having a really robust strategy, first of all, because you can't plan great content if you don't know why you're planning or what you're planning. And again, that sounds super obvious, but I think, again, and in my experience, oftentimes business owners, they're just gathering together photos of their products or their service, or they're taking a photo from their day, and that's fine, but that isn't a strategy. So it's two parts. It's having the really robust strategy, and it's also having tools and templates to make planning content so much easier and so much faster. Because I know that what can happen is we can end up with a desktop full of random downloads that we've found online, free content calendar. We're always downloading things because we think that's going to be the next great thing that's actually going to make us plan content and actually going to help us be consistent. And inevitably, oftentimes it ends up not helping us at all. It's just a distraction. It's just, a form of procrastination. So that is why I developed the course that I have. And that is really what I focus on in a lot of my workshops is, here is the strategy that works for pretty much any product-based or service-based business owner. And then B, here are the tools and templates to make planning that content and bringing that strategy to life as easy as possible.
Oh, well, that's definitely that really came across, and that's what I was learning on your workshop. I really, really enjoyed it, and it just made me just kind of feel a lot more relaxed about it. I haven't done everything yet though, but I've made some big progress. Today I did my very first live, what was it, on Instagram?
Story, I think.
Story, yeah. Did my first story consciously, because I've done some stories by accident. But this is like a conscious decision to kind of just express how excited I was this morning. I went out with the dogs. I was really excited about meeting you today, and I did a recording, and then I put a couple of taggy thing on stickers, and they worked.
Great.
And that was really by kind of just taking your attitude towards it, which is don't worry, and just relax. I mean, that's what that's how my course came about. My course came about, the Be Video Confident, is that during lockdown I was there was a Q&A session, and it was boutique owners, and this woman said, I've got this fantastic boutique, people are really buying for it, but I'm over 50 and the people I'm selling to are in their 20s. If they see me, they're not going to want to buy from me. And I was like, oh my God, no, I think it's really fantastic because, I teach students at UAL on some courses, and they really look up to people in their 50s. And then I thought, oh my God, but I can't do it. So And that's that's how my course came about, was trying not to be so hung up with how I look and
Mm,
looking perfect.
yeah,
And that's why what you teach really resonates with me, and sort of gave me that key to just do the post today and
yeah,
record it, and
yeah.
just think, you know what, I look what I look. I've got my dog walking hat on, but I just want everyone to know how excited I am to meet with you today. So thank you. Um, So my next question is kind of coming on to the videos,
Mhm.
because I really noticed this. I noticed from having this break over lockdown, with Instagram, I was like, oh my goodness, video is massive. I mean, I'm just looking here, it's my Instagram. There's a post that can be a video or static image. There's a
Yeah,
story,
yeah,
yeah, which is a video
yeah,
or stills, but it is moving, isn't it?
yeah.
Reel,
Hmm.
that's another one, and live.
And live, yes.
Can you explain?
So yes, so as you said, Yola, there's loads of people have different terms for them, like there's different formats, or there's different screens. There's all these different. Essentially, yes, there's a few different, I guess, mediums on Instagram. There's a few different formats, and so you have Instagram stories, you have the grid content, and within that grid content, you have Reels and Instagram Live. So as has always been the case with anyone watching who has used Instagram for a while, Instagram stories has always been and still is a great place for that slightly more rough and ready, behind the scenes kind of day-to-day stuff, which is exactly how you used it today, Yola. So that taking people through your day, or just sharing the content that you don't have to spend too much time putting together, which is the great thing about Instagram stories.
Mhm.
However, as I always say in my workshops, stories used to be a bit more slapdash. Here's a photo of my morning coffee. Here's something else random. Here's a post I've shared. And if you want to be strategic in 2022 and use stories in a more effective way, having a little bit more structure around them is important. But we can have that conversation for another day. But yes,
Mhm.
stories is definitely that more behind the scenes content. Then you have your grid content, which is kind of the main content you can see on somebody's profile. And
Mhm.
that can be made up of carousel posts, standalone photos or graphics, and now Instagram Reels. The big focus, I would say, for anyone in 2022 should be a combination of the video content and the carousel posts. So video content can be Reels or Instagram Live, or both
Mhm.
if you so wish, and carousel posts. Now that doesn't mean that photos are dead. You can still upload photos. I still do. But if you want to have the most success, then I would really focus on carousel posts, which are the multi-image posts,
Mhm.
and live or Reels. Just focusing on carousel posts for a moment, they're the multi-image, you swipe through and there's up to 10 images or
Yeah, so many now.
graphics in one.
Yeah.
They are really good for education, or a process. So taking people step by step through a how-to or a
Mhm.
tutorial or behind the scenes of something, that's really where a carousel post comes into its own, because of the format of it. You swipe through and you can take people on that journey or through that education. So they're really powerful for that. And then you've got live or Reels. Reels are Instagram's short form video content. It's Instagram's competitor to TikTok. So it's
Mhm.
that short form video content. It can be relatable or funny, and that's how lots of people use Instagram Reels, or it can be educational or promotional. And the best approach with Reels content is to kind of strike a balance with both. So you can be funny, you can be entertaining, but also use it to share your expertise and share your wisdom. And my best advice, if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed with Reels content, is just spend a little bit of time in the feed. If you open up your Instagram account, it's now, where the home icon used to be is a little play icon in the bottom center.
Mhm.
And if you click on that, it will take you to the kind of the Reels feed, where you can see all the people that you follow their reels content and other people's as well. And that's a great place to go and just get inspiration to see how people are using that short form video content. So yeah, and then the final one is Instagram Live. So I am a big advocate of Instagram Live. I think going live, as we're doing now, is still one of the best ways to really connect with your audience, because it's just you and them. And in that moment, in real life, they're also, you know, apart from having a few bullet points written down in front of you so that you make sure you're structured, there's not a huge amount of prep. You just start streaming, you start talking, or you do a demo, and that is it. And when you're thinking about, is Instagram content creation quite overwhelming? That's one of the formats that actually can take a lot of that overwhelm out of it, because you just minor prep and you can jump on live. And if anybody is wondering, but what about Instagram video? What IGTV that's what IGTV used to be. I would say, don't really think too much about Instagram video. Go live and save your live down as an Instagram video, because that's what you can do. You can save it down as a permanent piece of content. And that's what Instagram video can act as. So yes, so sorry, there's a lot to talk about.
Brilliant. You really that's clarified it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh my goodness, we've got a comment as well. Here we go. Jonathan Kemp. What makes a great image ahead of great content?
So Jonathan, if you could clarify what you mean by great image, as in, what are you selling? A product? Are you selling a service? What is your offer? Because that will really dictate what a great image is. Apart from that, imagery and standalone photos on Instagram, they're not dead. You know, last year, Adam Mosseri, the CEO of Instagram, came out and said Instagram is not just a photo sharing app anymore. And everybody got really worried and thought, oh my God, but what if I am a photographer? What if I am XYZ business owner? Is Instagram redundant for me now? No, not at all. It's just that video is as important, if not, you know, perhaps even more important than imagery, because people like engaging with video. It's more dynamic. It's just more, you can, you know, it's more expressive, it's more emotive oftentimes than a photo. So if you are going to use imagery, you just have to make sure that it is the highest quality that it can be, that it's really well lit, that it is taking up as much space in the feed as possible. So that means not just having a 1080 by 1080 square image, but having a 1080 by 1920, I think it is. I think I've got that all. Basically having a 4:5 image rather than a 4:4 image, for example, so that your image takes up more of the feed and stops the scroll. So those are just some of the best practices with imagery, because if you are going to use imagery, you want to make it the best it can possibly be. And consider not just having one image, but as mentioned before, make it a carousel post. So if you can tell a story with a few images, do that instead, because what's going to happen is people are going to scroll through their feed, see your image, and if it's a carousel, they'll pause and swipe through, and that makes your content stickier. That means they're going to stick with it rather than just scrolling on by.
Yeah, and what I would add to it is I also teach data visualization and for University of the Arts London. And the one thing that I really say to people is the beauty of our phones and tablets is that you can interact by touching it. And there's actually a physiological effect. When you scroll, it actually releases endorphins in your brain, apparently, and it makes you feel good. So if you're running a carousel, you actually increase people's enjoyment. And it's something until just now, I didn't realize it's the same thing. So, you know, when I'm teaching about infographics, I always say, make people want to touch it, make them want to touch it and interact with it with their finger on the screen. And think about it. Most people are on Instagram on their phones, maybe a tablet. And that's what we like to do. We like to touch the screen.
Yes, exactly.
So I can really see how the carousel would give you a real sense of kind of a bit of a rush of excitement and reward. Because one of the most addictive things is reward. And I would say and I'm really thinking on my feet here, but if you're creating a series of carousels that you're sweeping, that people will come back to you for the reward of what they get.
Yeah, and it's a really good point, Yola, because also in terms of the structure of a carousel, that's why whenever I talk to clients about it, I say, make sure you tell a story with that carousel. That doesn't have to be with words, it can be with your visuals. But as exactly as you say, you want people to keep swiping, because not only does that give them that endorphin rush and it gets them excited to get to the end, which is the payoff, whether it's the tips that you share or the personal insight, or it's just the finished product, if you're taking them on a journey from raw materials to finished product. It's that endorphin rush, and it is also telling the Instagram algorithm, because obviously they track all of this stuff, that somebody has been swiping through your content all the way to the end, and so your content is clearly very, very valuable. So yeah, exactly, it is all about encouraging. How can we encourage people to keep swiping through?
Wow, gosh, this is really making me. And in fact, Jonathan said, this is fascinating. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Jonathan. I hope I answered your question.
Brilliant. I've got one from Bill Bailey. Is Instagram more popular than other social media platforms?
That's a good question, Bill. I don't have the stats to hand. It's certainly one of the most popular social media platforms and forms of media. It depends if you're, I'm saying that comparing it to platforms like TikTok, Facebook. Well, Facebook owns Instagram, but TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and so on. It's up there with, the big kind of 4 or 5 that you can think of. In terms of other media, it just comes back to really who your ideal client, who your target audience is, and where you can best reach them, or how you can best reach them. And so that comes back to the individual business owner, really, and saying, where are you best, where's your energy and your time and your money best placed, really, to reach those people? For lots of people, it will be platforms like Instagram or Facebook or TikTok. For others, it will be more traditional forms of media. But I would say, even with traditional forms of media, I would always usually say that in pretty much every case, coupling that with Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, one kind of social media platform, is usually a good bet, because the stats, there's so many users on there, there's so many demographics on there. So yes, I'm sorry I don't have the exact stats, but yeah, it comes down to who you're trying to reach, really.
Yeah, I mean, I really, really, we will have this conversation earlier. I really enjoy interacting with people on LinkedIn. I just love it. And consequently, I've met some really great people, and I've done some really good business through LinkedIn. And it suits my tone of voice.
Yes. Yeah.
But Instagram's been really interesting, going, onto it and enjoying it, and actually enjoying talking to people and taking a kind of a bit more relaxed way of talking, and interacting with them, which I've learned from you. Thanks, Bella. I really learned that from you and what you've taught me. And it's really interesting. I would say I will say this. There's kind of a lot more kind of guys popping up on Instagram than on LinkedIn. And
Oh,
somebody said
really?
this on LinkedIn the other day. They said there's kind of a lot of blokes just like hello on Instagram, which I kind of I'm new to it, because on LinkedIn, all the guys that you connect with as a woman, which I am, it's very much just kind of a business thing.
Yes.
And on Instagram, I just like being bombarded with, hello, I'm lonely, and I'm like,
Oh, right. Okay.
well, and I'm trying to be polite and saying, well, I just think I'm the wrong person.
Yeah, I think you can block those people. The thing is, I've got such a, now after all this time on Instagram, I've got such a kind of no tolerance policy. If anybody weird messages me or anybody comments, I just block them, because I just can't be bothered. So feel free, have permission to. It's funny you say that, because actually, likewise, a few people have said to me that they have weird people private messaging them on LinkedIn, even though obviously LinkedIn is a much more professional space anyway. It might be a little bit more respected on a platform like Instagram. But I think as well, when you're, well, no, I was going to say when you're a new account on Instagram, but I think everyone experiences strange people on the internet sometimes, and especially on platforms like Instagram that's very visual. So yeah, my policy with that is just block. The
Brilliant,
block
thank you.
button. I'm always using the block button now. So
Oh,
yeah.
great. Thank you, because that for me is a huge tip. Thank you. And
Yes.
I've been a bit embarrassed to say that before. It's like, when you're a group in a workshop, and I just I sit there thinking, should I say something, or is it am I just being
Oh
a bit
yeah.
weedy?
No, block away, Yola. Because the thing is, I'm also very much of the mindset now of anything that takes my time or my energy, I don't want that. And I won't, they don't deserve it. So yeah, any weird messages or stuff that I just know is not going to help me or my business or anything, I
Hmm.
just block.
Okay, thank you. Well, so I'm actually going to come to, actually this is I didn't mean this to happen, but how can anyone contact you?
Send a weird message.
What
No.
capacity have you done to?
Really good segue there, Yola.
Thank you. I do my
Um,
best.
So how you can contact me, well, the main Instagram account that I'm active on most of the time is at Bella Foxwell. So you can send me a message. I know that it wouldn't be weird, hopefully. So you can send me a DM or you can follow me over there, leave me a comment. I post there pretty much every single day, almost, give or take. And that's the best way to contact me. And plans for 2022.
Mm.
Are to what I love to do is I love teaching live, and I love doing group workshops. I have an online course which is
Oh,
self-paced,
I
which
happen to have ready.
yes, which people I have a selection of an online course and some on-demand workshops that people can go and do in their own time, and they are wonderful, if I do say so myself. But what I also love to do is talk live with people, teach people live, have that interaction, answer questions. I love that. And so really a big focus this year is just to do a lot more speaking and teaching and workshops. And so that is my plan. That is my goal for this year. And so I did a few workshops last year for the Royal College of Art and the Prince's Trust and organizations like that. So I would just love to do more of that this year.
You did a lovely course for the interior designers. Is
Yes,
it
the
the
British
Guild?
Institute of Interior
Yeah.
Design. Yes, so exactly, and I just love that because you just get in front of more people, don't you? And you help more
Mm.
people, and so yeah, that's my goal for this year.
Oh, fantastic. And when are you coming back from Porto?
Sadly, I am coming back from Porto mid-April. So mid-April, which the good thing is that the clocks will have changed in London and it will be
Mhm.
hopefully a bit sunnier, a bit warmer. But yeah, I'm just going to have to soak up all of the Portuguese food and port until then. So
Wow.
before then, yeah.
But this is the beauty, isn't it, of the social media, is you don't have to be here, wherever your normal here is, and be invisible, because you can
No,
stay visible
yeah.
and stay active and busy and running a business.
Absolutely, Yol. And that's the thing. And we said, so I'm here with my boyfriend, and we said, obviously, as everyone was sat in their house or their flat, locked down for essentially 2 years. But we did say, as things started to open up, we said, well, why are we sitting here in the same place when fortunately we can both work remotely? We might as well sit on our backsides somewhere warmer and nicer because we have the ability to. So that's not to say that logistically it's that easy and Brexit and all those things, but it's worth it. And so that was it. We said, well, we can work remotely. Let's go and do it somewhere sunny and lovely. And that's what we did. And yeah, as you
Mm.
say, we're so fortunate to both be able to work remotely and do that. So yeah, reaping the benefits of that.
It's also going to be really interesting talking to you when you get back, because you're experiencing working remotely. And there's lots of us who, with things feeling exactly the same way that you do,
Mm.
and feeling a bit nervous about it. It will be
Mm.
really interesting to listen to your journey, your story of it. I mean, that's definitely a good reason to follow you on Instagram and on LinkedIn,
Yes,
because you're on both.
I am.
Because we can sort of experience that story. But it will be I will invite you back when you
Oh,
get back,
great.
and just talk about how you found that.
Oh,
How
well, I'd
it's
love to talk about it, Yola. Yeah, I definitely. We can do a follow-up.
mm,
How to work remotely and do it easily and successfully. Yeah.
yeah. It's it's I was looking at somebody on Instagram, and they're on like a tropical resort, and she's saying, yeah, you can achieve this and achieve that, and I was thinking, oh my god, it's just like too far away for me to kind of a tropical resort. I don't know, but certainly Porto for me
Yeah.
sounds very doable.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I'm certainly not still much to my dismay. I am still working very hard. I'm not by the beach without my laptop, but it is so much nicer to be here. So yeah,
Mm.
we can definitely chat all about that.
Oh, fantastic. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for being my guest today.
Thank you.
That was really, really kind of you to kind of spend some time talking to everyone and sharing your knowledge. I mean, I have to say, I now understand it. Whatever
Okay.
it was, no, I really understand now. You really have it helped me explain and understand kind of the importance of video, um,
Mm,
how to make it feel a bit more relaxed, how to be more approachable, and how to use it. So that's going to be a great year. Thank you so much.
great. Thank you, Yola.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Great. So I'm going to play us out with my. I'm so excited here that I forgot I have to play my end credits. So here we go. Bye everyone, and I'll see you in the next episode of Be Video Confident.
Bye.